Okay, so I am incredibly grateful and blessed that I get to speak with you all. I know some of you and not all of you, and so it really is my joy to share with you how to choose joy. Do we have the clip? Oh, it's me. I get to be in charge. Yay! Okay, sorry about that. How to choose joy when crap hits the fan. Because it is a conscious choice, people. When things are going well, it's easy to be joyful. It's when things are mayhem and hurricane, winds knocking you over that you've got to find, how in the world do I find joy in the midst of this mess? So I want to take your temperature super quick on your joy temperature. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being amazing, 1 being horrible, how much joy do you feel today? And either write it down or think it. No judgment. It might be an 8 or 9. You're like, this is going great. Or it's a 1 or 2. This sucks. My life is in a complete disaster, or it could be a 0. My intention is to help you move up at least 2 by the end of this. I'm going to give you 4 building blocks of what joy is, how to implement it, and why it's so important. And hopefully we can move that needle forward. But before I go into and I have 20 minutes, so we're going to move quickly. I'll be scratching the surface on a lot of this stuff. You've got your worksheet. So take your worksheet out, please, because there'll be some fill in the blanks that you can look at afterwards. I birthed Choose Joy at a very dark time of my life. I'm going to rewind to 2002, and that's 24 years ago. January of 2002, I'm going to just kind of nutshell this, but I'd been married to my first husband for 13 years, found out he was having an affair. Happy New Year! I find out my husband's having an affair. To make matters worse, it was with somebody I knew. And to make matters even more worse, he was 40 and she was 16. So yeah, that's a whole lower level of yuck, right? I was devastated. I didn't even know what to think. I was embarrassed, and my world had been just tipped upside down. And I went through all the things women say, what's wrong with me? Was I not good enough, smart enough, pretty enough, rich enough? And it's never about the nuffs. Of course, after therapy, I realized it's him and his choices. But nevertheless, it left me devastated. And so I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't spend loads of money on stuff to feel better, but I'm really good at sleep. It is like my superpower. And so my coping mechanism was I would sleep 16 to 17 hours a day. I know, it's a lot, and it was a heavy sleep. And then at the time, I acted and modeled, so I acted and modeled for 15 years. If I didn't have a photo shoot or an acting gig, I was either sleeping or I was in my pajamas on my couch, eating very little, and maybe watching TV and then going back to bed. So don't recommend that. When we share later, that's one of the things not to do. So I did that for 3 months, and then April came along. I'm still like, poor me, why me? And then in the middle of the night, one night in mid-April, I'm a woman of faith, so I wake up like at 3 a.m., and I heard the Lord tell in my heart and soul, here's the deal. You don't deserve this. It's really sad, and it's unfortunate. And you can keep feeling sorry for yourself, because you've got that choice. Or you can wake up tomorrow and find one thing to be joyful about. And I was like, what? I have options? I thought my only option was to feel sorry for myself and wallow in my sadness. But when I had the option to choose joy, even in the midst of some circumstances that are pretty yucky, I'm going for the joy. And this is 2002. Nowadays, there's like Choose Joy posters and everything about Choose Joy in books. I never even heard that term. So it was definitely divine intervention. So I woke up the next day and I was like, okay, I'm just grateful I have a place to live. Oh, and I'm grateful I have my health. I'm grateful I have food. And the list went on. And it really is gratitude, taking a page out of Gila's book. Gratitude is the road to joy. And so once I realized there's a whole lot of good happening in my life right now, in addition to the crud that I still had to deal with. And so that has been my MO for the last 24 years, is there's always going to be some kind of arrows shot our way, little or big. And we've got to deal with the circumstance, but we also have the choice to see what's going well in our life and to be grateful for that. So fast forward from 2002 to 2018. February of 2018, I had a lump I figured it's just a benign cyst. Went to the doctor, did a biopsy, and it was stage 3C breast cancer. And to make matters worse, it was triple negative. So if you know anything about breast cancer, that's not the one. You don't want any cancer, but triple negative doesn't have a lot of solutions. So I went through some chemotherapy. I did a litany of holistic, which was a game changer. And there I have a cold cap on, so it freezes your skull. So it's a 3-hour migraine because I like my hair, and I didn't want my hair falling out. And it stayed until I had a hiccup 4 months into it. And I had an internal bleed, didn't know it. I was losing the use of my arms and my legs. My husband called an ambulance. I went to the hospital. And I had a hemoglobin of 2.8. So if you know that, that's like a dead person. So the doctors were shocked I was alive. So it is a miracle that I'm even here today. It wasn't my time to die. And I had 7 units of blood over 5 days. So I got my strength back. But in the midst of all that, if I was going to die tomorrow, I was going to go out choosing joy. I'd take the bull by the horns, and I'm not going to go down feeling sorry for myself. So what I did, and I'm going to be showing you these, some of what I did, is I was taking ballroom lessons at the time. I still take my lessons. I competed. You can see it on the slide. So I competed. Wig and all, because after I had that bleed, my hair fell out. So I pinned my wig on, flicking my hair while I'm doing my cha-cha-cha, and I was with Pinnacle at the time. This is 2018, so that's Steve and Jamie Geffner, wearing my wig as I worked. You just got to do what you got to do, and dancing brought me joy. Working with CEOs like you all these years brings me joy. Plus, I had my faith in God and my family and friends to get me through all that. And I love this meme, this illustration, because I saw this about 15 years ago. You can be on the same train, and one person is just fixating on their problems. And there are problems in life. We have to solve them, but fixating on them just sucks us down. Or you can look at the vast possibilities while the situation is there, giving some attention to that, but also focusing on what can I do that's going to help me not get sucked down into blame, shame, why me, poor me. The Victimville place is not a place to live. So I want to also give you just the differentiation of happiness and joy. And it's so funny because Christy Brocata and I were just talking about this. There's a slight difference. Happy is great. The only difference is happiness tends to be external circumstances. It's the party, it's an event, it's some good news, and it's good. Happy is good. But when you go home, once you're away from that and you're at home, you're just sitting there like, God, the happy is gone. You need something deeper. And joy is an inside job. It's not dependent on external circumstances because that, again, can be disaster and mayhem. But it's also going inside and that gratitude. It is so key to remember your gratitude, and that's what brings you peace. It brings you contentment. And when the going gets tough, you look for that silver lining, and it's what keeps you strong in the midst of the tsunami. So take your sheets. I'm going to give you the 4 building blocks. But first of all, I want us to focus on gratitude. Because you guys, you come from work situations that just blew up while you're here, or family situations. It's Murphy's Law, you leave, and sometimes some things go a little awry. And I want us to get focused on gratitude. So write down 3 things you are grateful for. And then look at those 3 things, and then the next line says, how do they make you feel? When you look at those things you're grateful for, what good feelings do they give you? Do they make you smile? Is there appreciation? Makes you laugh? So I love, just kind of use your outdoor loud voice. What are some of the feelings you get when you think of some of these things you've written down that you're grateful for? Anybody? Anybody here? Safe. Safe? Okay. peace, love, blessed, strong up here, and purpose. Yeah, and I'm glad you said purpose. I mean, all of those, and then, I mean, who doesn't want to feel more love and peace and strength and safe? So again, those are those anchors when, caca is happening out here, you go back to this. And purpose, there's a great book called The Purpose-Driven Life by Rick Warren. It's back in the 90s, it's still around. He talks about how life isn't peaks and valleys, like things are great, things are horrible, things are fabulous, things suck. It's not peaks and valleys. He describes it as railroad tracks. The same time good is happening, there's some yuck that could be happening. And at the same time a lot of yuck is happening, there's still some good things happening. So it's where you put your focus. They're always happening at the same time. It's just where do you put your focus? Because we always say, what you focus on, you create. And so just be mindful, like when you start to get in a slump, just go back, okay, what am I grateful for? Because gratitude is the road to joy. You have that at the top of your page. Make sure you fill in, gratitude is the road to joy. Because gratitude is that precursor to like, yes, I feel so joyful. The next thing, before I give you the 4 building blocks on how to infuse joy, is I got to talk about the common objections or the saboteurs of joy, because there's 4 of them. The first one, I'm going to give you the cheat sheet. It's when things are going tough and rough and you're sad or mad or discouraged, it feels inauthentic or fake or not genuine to feel joy, right? Does anybody feel like it's kind of fake to be joyful? Yeah, but again, it's not dependent on that external circumstance. It's inside. What am I grateful for? So there's data that says if you just smile, you release endorphins. So smile when you're sad. I don't recommend smiling when you're fighting with your spouse. They don't like the smile, but you can go in the back room and smile and just get those instant endorphins. The second one is no time and I'm too busy. Okay, if you're too busy for joy, you're too busy. That's another conversation. But there are some people that are genuinely busy. They've got kids, they've got work, they've got commitments. And so I always talk about joy. Joy doesn't take an hour or 5 hours. It can take 5 minutes. If all you have is 5 minutes to get some sanity of joy, you can infuse that into your day. And I will show you how. The last one is feeling guilty. It's, if you're really sad, it seems kind of weird to feel joy. And this one I'm going to share. This one was the tough one for me because a year after I had cancer, my brother, who's my best friend and my mentor, he got diagnosed with stage 2 melanoma in February of 2019. So we're like, we're gonna kick its butt, and we're gonna do this. He got the little lump taken out, clean PET scan. 2 months later, he was in excruciating pain, and he was littered with cancer. So it was in his spleen, his spine, his bones, it was everywhere, and he was in horrible pain. And we're like, we're gonna choose joy. Because what are we gonna do, just cry and be depressed? So he ended up in hospice, and we spent the last 3 weeks with him, and I saw him take his last breath. And I will tell you, I was not happy. There was nothing happy about that. And 2019 was my saddest, hardest year ever. I cried every day. But I also knew to choose joy. What am I grateful for? In the memories that he gave me. Zig Ziglar says, if you don't want grief, don't love. And of course I want to love. And so I took the bitter with the better. And choosing joy, I knew my brother would want that for me too, right? And so the memories, I've got 54 years of memories with him that I wouldn't trade for anything. So feeling guilty, I get it, but if you don't let yourself feel joy, you will get buried. So we're gonna go through the 4 building blocks. I've got 5 minutes. So the first one is spiritual. I'm gonna give you a spiritual, a physical, a mental, and emotional. The first one is spiritual. This is where our roots dig deep, because when those gale force winds happen, you don't want your tree to just fall over and snap. You want to be strong. So meditation and prayer, we talk about that a lot. And because I'm a woman of faith, my go-to is reading a couple verses out of the Bible. I meditate. Meditation is kind of listening. So listening to what are the lessons I'm supposed to learn? What's the wisdom I can get from this? And prayer is conversation. And just like it says here, gratitude is a great place to start when you're praying. Like set your intention for the day. 3 things you're grateful for. What's my intention? Because arrows are going to come. Sometimes they're little, sometimes they're huge. But what is my intention as these things happen unexpectedly in my day? Am I going to let them knock me over, or am I going to respond versus react? So that's spiritual. The next one is physical. This is, we all know this, eat healthy, exercise, drink water, sleep. And 2 out of 3 of Americans aren't doing this. We know what to do, but we got to go really internal to like, why aren't we doing these things for our body? This is the one body you get. You can trade in your house, your spouse, your car, but you can't trade in your body. And so if you want to dig deeper, come to my table in the next hour, because I don't have time to go into every one of these. So come to the table right there. Learning health and wellness, we all need that. Mental, this is one of my favorites because, again, no isolation. I isolated for 3 months, is no bueno. So stay connected with people who affirm you, encourage you, appreciate you, build you up when you are in your darkest days. The other one is laugh, and even if it's just 5 minutes a day, laughter creates endorphins and dopamine, and it kind of gets you out of that slump that you're in. And then find a hobby. We know a lot of you CEOs don't have a hobby. It's just work, 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 work. And nobody gets on their deathbed and wishes they worked more. So find something you love. Is it painting? Is it hiking? Is it knitting? But find something outside of yourself. And I'm just going to put this up. You'll want to take a picture of that meme, because I'm not going to say every one of them. But aside from any kind of drugs and alcohol that we like to kind of use to sedate us, there's a ton of ways you can do things naturally to get your dopamine, your oxytocin, your endorphins, playing with a puppy, holding a baby, smelling a baby's little hair, and hiking. So get creative on getting those beautiful hormones going and chemicals in your body. Okay, the last one is emotional. So spiritual, physical, and mental is all internal work. Emotional is where you get to give back. One of the best things we can do when times are tough is find somebody who's got it tougher than you. Or they just need some help. Serving people, helping people, doing random acts of kindness, which I like to say intentional acts of kindness, because I like to be intentional, and making their day. It's rewarding far more than what we do for them. It's how they make us feel too. It's purpose. So I've got a minute and a half. There's your 4 building blocks. And you can pick and choose. You've got your intention on your worksheet of what you're going to start to implement, because we're about doing and not just looking. And really, this is a great statement. The joy we feel has little to do with the circumstances of our lives and everything to do with the focus of our lives. So one last thing, I'm going to give you a bonus. You're going to have to take a picture of this too. But this is for all the control freaks. There are 5 things you can control. It's so freeing, I promise you. You can't control what's going on out here. You can influence, but you can't control. But you can control what you say, the words you use, what you do, your actions, how you feel, what you think. And I know there's the subconscious stuff down there, but come on, we can control what we think consciously, and then how you respond. Reaction is never going to be your friend. Responding, so it takes some thinking before speaking, right? Control what you can, and let the rest go on down the river. When all else fails, just dance it out. You know me. I like to dance, it's no secret. So I ballroom dance, and then that's Karen and Greg and I. We always do a silly little dance video. A for effort. That's what it is. Okay, so one last thing. There's power in the spoken word. So I would love everybody to stand up, please. And we're going to read this out loud. So really own it. Use your strong voice, not your mumbles voice, so it can kind of get into our heart and soul and viscerally in us. So let's go. Choose to live in joy. Life goes by in the blink of an eye. It's too short to live upset, angry, resentful, or ungrateful. If you look for the good, you'll find it. Choose joy and be at peace. Decide that each day is going to be a great day, and grab each moment and make the best of it. Refuse to let negative thoughts take root in your mind, and refuse to let negative people and situations drag you down. Trust your journey and know that if you make a mistake, it's okay. See it as a lesson learned and keep moving forward. spend less time worrying and more time being grateful for those who love you and all of life's goodness. So, okay, everybody, it's 2 words. I'm giving you a clue. I'm going to ask you a question and you respond. What do you do when crap hits the fan? Choose joy!